Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ma'moon and I will explain in this small tutorial how to design a UI using XML. I will show some tricks, especially using the linear layout, the simple linear layout. As I mentioned before, we will be covering the constraint layout in the coming lectures. So let's look what exactly we would like to do is we would like to have a user interface that looks like this one, where I have in the top some icons, I have a title, and I have some views that include edit text, text view, and spinner, and radio button. And the top and the bottom, we will have also a couple of buttons so that we can handle them in the next tutorial. So a prerequisite for that, so let me show you how would the final UI look like. It will look like this one. And if you want to see it in the AVD, it's gonna look like, it will take a couple of seconds to come up. It will look like something like this. Okay, it's showing, okay, 0 errors now. So as you can see here, look, it will look like this, where you have a title, you have a bunch of tab where there are icons, there are edit text. Notice the margin where I'm using also having some distances a little bit far from the left side of the device, and also I'm aligning things in the middle and so on and so forth. So let's see how can we design our user interface with only the simple linear layout, either vertically or horizontally. So a prerequisite for this, in the colors, I mentioned, I listed the different colors. So please copy the colors in the under the resources, values, colors. Copy the colors that are included in the text of the assignment. So copy them here. Make sure that the XML is well formed. Also in the string XML, define the emirate array where you have the 7 emirates of the United Arab Emirates. So these are the two things. In addition to that, in the drawable, make sure that you copy the UAEU logo. It's a picture included and you can add them. Now, what I didn't mention in the assignment is something that you can create icons also in Android. So let me close this one. So if you look here, notice that here the icons are very small and they are different from the images that I posted for you. So in this text of I call it lab, I will post it also along with assignment. You will see that I gave you some instruction. How can you create icons? There are icons already inside Android. So let me show you how to create icon. I created a bunch of them: about icon, contact icon, help icon, in addition to two icons already there. So if you want to create icons using Android, just say, for example, application new, and go to vector asset. Once you go to vector asset, you will see that here's a clip art and local file. And as you can see, these are built-in or some icons that are already in Android. So you can search. So if in the clip art here, just click there and you can search. For example, you want to search for help, you will see some icons there. You want to search for example, home. Sorry. You will see some kind of this. You say contacts. You will see some contacts as you can see here. So you can pick from them. Okay. So if you, let's say I picked this for contact and I say okay, and I can change the name here. I can say icon. I can keep IC to indicate that this is an icon, and I will say my home, for example. And you can change the color, by the way. You can change the color the way you want here. You can pick colors here. For example, I can make it blue, you see, and I say choose, and it will become like this. Next, and you can finish, and you have one icon here that looks like this. Okay, so you can create your own icon there. Okay, So this is how to create icons. So let's go back to how can we create the UI. So basically, I will go to the main activity. I empty the main activity. I change the root of the XML to a linear layout. And of course, because I will align things at the top of each other, I will make them oriented vertical. So everything now, the root will be linear layout, vertically aligning all the elements, and I can add things as you see. So the first thing you will see here, I wanted to add, let me get back here. I want to include 1, 2, 3, 4 images, 3 icons, and I created the icons here. Icons about, icons about contact, icons about help. I searched the asset inside the Android, and I created icon as you can see. In addition to the logo, which is I have it. So I have 4 image views, right? So I can have image view, and I say width. I can control the width. I can say wrap content. The height, I can also control them by saying I want them 50 dp. I do want them too much, okay? And I can say, okay, the source, and the first one will be UAEU, which is this image, right? So I will put UAE, it will show up, okay? And I can close it, okay? I need 4 of them because 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one UAEU, the second will be, if you select it, it will be about the help. So I will say help, icon help, okay? And the third one, the third image will be about what? The contact, okay? And the last one will be, which is about click exclamation point, which is include about the application, okay? What you can see is that all of the 4 icons are aligned at the top of each other. So how can I make them as like this? I want them in one aligned next to each other. So what I can nest views inside each other. So I can say the first element here will be another linear layout where things are aligned vertically. I'm sorry, things are aligned horizontally. So what I can do here, I can say, okay, I need one element at the top, which is linear layout. It will match the parent because it will expand in the whole thing, and it will be wrap content for the height, or I can decide it. I can say 50 dp. I do want that height. The height not that big, and I say orientation is horizontally, okay, and I close it like this. And notice that the end of the tag, I will move it all the way down um, till the end of the images. So if I move it here, and all of a sudden you will see what? You will see things are aligned here in the design. I hope you can see the design. It will be aligned here at the top. Now I have a problem here. If you look here, maybe the first image, it's say this match, this is wrap content. The first image is very big, so I need to make it a little bit smaller so that I can allow other icons to show up. So I can make it, for example, 100 dp. And if you look, if when I make it 100 dp, I have control. If I say the design, now you'll see the image, the logo, the help, the contact, and here what? The about. You see that? But there's a problem. What's the problem? You'll see that the logo, it's good. It's in the left. But the 3 icons, I want them to the right. So what I can do in this case, so let me just indent them correctly here. I will take them all like this. Okay. So what I can do is I can also nest linear layout. I can consider the 3 icons in one linear layout, and I can align it to the right. So what I can do, here's the main image, okay, and it's aligned in the left, which is correct. So I do want to deal with each icon differently, the 3 icons in the right. I want to deal them with one item. So I can create a linear layout, which is matching the parent, which is wrap content, and also I want them to be oriented horizontally, okay? And I can also bring them the three icons inside this linear layout, and I can indent a little bit. I have this habit of indentation. I have to do it. I don't know why. Now, look what happens now. Nothing changed. If you look here in the design, nothing changed. But now what I can do is I can use the gravity to align them to the right. So I can say gravity, linear layout gravity, and say right. Okay. And at the same time, I can say gravity and right, and you'll see they switch to the right. Now I have them, the logo on the left, and the three are to the right, which is what I want exactly. Okay. Now a few things to consider. Maybe this thing I did not explain to the class, which is what's so called the margin. You'll see that in the design, things are always like on exact the boundary of the device here and here, right? So in order to adjust things, you can add margins. Okay. So one way to add margin, you can say, okay, in the root, which is the linear layout, I can add left margin here, margin left. So anything in any element inside the linear layout will have a left margin, which means a space, and I can decide it 10 dp, for example. And you'll see automatically that the image or all element will be adjusted 10. You see this distance. Let me make it bigger. You see this margin here. This is 10. You see that 10. So a space that uh, the elements will be adjusted to the right, or I'm creating a left margin of 10 dp. Also, I can do the same thing for left. So I can say, I'm sorry, we can do the same thing to the right. So right margin, I can say 10 dp, and you'll see that there is a margin to the right and margin to the left, because normally we don't want things stick on the boundary of the device. Okay, so as you can see, we adjusted this. Now, if you look also, there's a problem. You can tell that also you are this element which has the three icons plus the logo. Also, they are a little bit attached to the top of this, to the top of the main application menu up there. So also I can add top margin. So I can come here to the, if you look here, I'm sorry, if you look here, now this is the element that I have. You see, if I click here, you see in the right hand side here, this is the linear layout that it has two elements, the logo, and another linear layout that has three icons. So I can, in this linear layout, I can say top margin, or margin, here's margin, margin left, bottom, top, and I can add 10 dp so that it goes down a little bit. So it's not a little bit attached to the top. Okay. Now I achieved what I want. Now let's get back here and see what else we need. So in addition to that, yes, now we need a title, which is UAEU library. So I can go all the way down. Look here, this is the element layout. I can go all the way down here, and I can create a text view where I have wrap content, and I say text, and I say UAEU library. I think this is, I want a UAEU library. Okay. I can change, of course, gravity. I can put the gravity in the center. Notice that it switched where to the center. Also, I can change the size of the font. So size font, I can make it, for example, 16 sp, and it becomes bigger, or maybe more if you want. And I can close it. And now you can tell how does the library here look like. It looks bigger, but also I can also add space between the UA library and the the bar up there which has the icons. So I guess you know how can you can do that. You can play with the margin. You can say margin top, and you say maybe I can add 15 now to make it a little bit down. As you can see, I brought it down a little bit with the margin in the top. Also, I feel that the size of the font is small, so I will add it to 18. So now it becomes bigger. So now it becomes worth. Of course, you can change the color, whatever color you want, by using the font color and so on and so forth. Now, let's look what else. Now, after that, you need the edit text first, pattern ID, and an edit text. So we can do things the same way. Notice that these two things are aligned vertically the same way as the main UI, the main linear layout. The main linear layout, which is this one. So this is vertical. So everything so far I needed vertical. So I can add now text view. Oh, sorry, text view, and I can say wrap content, and I say text, and I will say pattern ID to indicate I want to enter pattern ID, and I think it should be aligned left. So I'm done. Beneath it, I need the edit text. So I see edit text so that we can enter, and it will be wrap content also. Wrap, not yeah, wrap content. You can make it smaller if you opt to, and you can change the font if you opt to, of course. And here you can do hint for or hint, yes, and you can say enter ID. Okay. And what else you can do? I think how does it look like? You'll see here. Notice that enter ID, it's only this part. Normally we want to it when it looks, or you can expand it to the width of the device. Normally we span to the width of the device, even though we might need only 6-7 characters, but it looks for the UI, it looks better to span it. So instead of having width wrap content, we can have it match parent. And you can see how does it look like now. Your enter ID, it look like they are well aligned. Okay, if you notice the enter ID, the hint, which indicates the font of the input is a little bit bigger, so you can still also change the font size if you want. Size, here's you have text size, you can make it, for example, 12 sp to make it smaller if you want, to make here the input smaller or make it bigger. You can adjust it accordingly to match whatever need you want. Okay. What else we have? We have also we need to include the name. Okay, so the name, it can be done the same way. So what you can do, you can copy these, copy, and here you can say just name, and here the hint will enter name. You can say first, last, or whatever. Now what you have now is pattern ID, where you can enter the ID, and name, where you can enter the name, and after that what you need is a radio button for the gender. So a radio button for the gender, the way you do it is that you need to create a radio button. So if you copy whatever you have in the slides, you can grab them easily. Okay. So here, radio, you need to create radio group, and it has to span maybe match parent and here wrap content, and you just close it. So this is the radio group. Now notice that the content of the gender here, or the, what do you call it, the radio button, it's horizontally. So you can, what you can do here, or you need to do, is orientation to be horizontal. So in the radio group, the element inside will be aligned horizontally. Also notice that we need a gender in the same way. So how can we enter the text gender here? Of course, in many cases, you don't add gender, but I want to add gender here. So the way you do it is that you cannot have the group, and because the default linear layout here is, or I'm sorry, the linear layout, the parent is what? Vertical. So you want things horizontal, so you do the same trick where you can create a linear layout. and it you call it match parent, wrap content, and to say the orientation is again horizontal. And now you can wrap the radio button inside it like this. Okay, so now the linear layout, it would have the radio button, and you can also have before that the gender. So I will copy the text from here. I don't want to keep doing. So before the radio button, so before the radio group, I will add the text where I will add, okay, gender. Okay, you see now I have gender in this linear layout, which is horizontal, and I have the radio group. Now in the radio group, I can add radio button, the first one, which wrap content, and I will say the text that I want is female, and this is the end. And also you can create another one where you have the male. So here's another one which is male. Okay. Now if I look at the if you look at the design, you will see some discrepancy, male, female in the center, gender at the top, right? So you need to adjust that. How can we adjust that? You need to play a little bit with the, so let me remember here. You can say in the linear layout, I want gravity to be center, okay? And I want also gravity here to be center. And if you look here at the design now, it's perfect, right? Gender, female, male. See that? Okay. Now, the last thing we want to do, according to this, is not the last thing, the one before, which is the city. I want a spinner to select the spinner to select the city or the imara. So we do the same thing. Notice that I have a text here in the left, city, and I have also a drop down or a spinner where can I pick the Emirates. So you can do the same thing. You can use the same trick by creating linear layout. Again, it's matching the parent because it will match the whole device, and the height will be wrap content according to my need, and the orientation, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be horizontal, and I will close it. Now inside here, I will add a text. So let me copy one of the text here, where I will have the city. Okay, and the second one will be a spinner. Now spinner, where you have layout width, I can say, I can make it as wide as the parent match content, for example, the height wrap content. And here I will need the entries to identify where are the entries of this spinner comes from. And I think you can guess it's gonna be from the Emirates array. And I close it. And if you look at the design now, you'll see it looks city and Abu Dhabi, and the drop down will come down. Okay, of course you can adjust the alignment, but the margins the way you want, the way you see it fit. Notice that also I made some, all of them are a little bit stuck on the top of each other, right? uh, the rest of the screen is empty, meanwhile everything is up, right? So what I can do, I can for example I can get to the here to the title, which is UAE, and I can add what's so called space. So space, where I can add space, the width might be match parent, the same match parent, but the height I can have make it for DP2, or maybe I can have more like 5 dp. Okay, and I close it. You'll see that things a little bit will go down. I can add this. It's this one is a little bit looks like a vertical space because it will be matching the parent and 5 dp height. So it looks like vertical space. So I can come next after, or maybe after this one, which is the edit text here, I can add V, and you'll see things goes a little bit down. If you look here, things a little bit will be scattered a little bit vertically a little bit. I can add more. For example, here I can add it more, and you will see things will shift a little bit down. The same thing I can apply with the radio group, and maybe here, and you'll see things a little bit will be going down. You can add the 5 from, for example, 10, and you'll see things goes a little bit more. You see that? It's up to you how can you do it. Maybe I will add finally 1 here, and maybe I will add 10 so that it goes down. And here I need 2 buttons, as you can see, add pattern and find pattern. And I think you can guess, because these are 2 buttons next to each other, I need a linear layout where I need maybe a wrap content, and I will say orientation is horizontal. And I can say, because the 2 buttons will be in the middle here, right? I can say gravity is center, and linear layout gravity also will be center, and I close it. Now inside the layout here, I can add what I want. I'm sorry, here it turns out the height is match parent, shouldn't be. You look here, there's a, it looks like weird. So I will say wrap content, so it will look like this. Now I can add a button, and I say wrap content, and the text here is gonna be add pattern. The color is ugly, as you can see here, so I can change the background color, which is background tint, to change the background color. And I change it, for example, to black, gold. Let me change it to biscuit. Doesn't look well, all right? Okay, let me change it blue, maybe blue. Right. I don't have blue. Three, I'm supposed to have blue. Orange almond blush. That's three. Let me change it this way. Doesn't look very well. I don't know. Okay, I can yellow. There is yellow. Light yellow. Okay. No blue. I don't know why I don't. Okay, let me change it brown then. I don't have brown. Why? Let me check if I have these colors: black, white. I don't have brown. No, I don't have. Wow. Wow, I didn't copy the brown and blue. Oh, my mistake. Okay. I didn't copy them, so I cannot use them. Anyway, let me keep it as it is. Okay. And let me close it, and let me create the other button for looking for find pattern. And you will see them looking like this: add pattern, find pattern. Look, sometimes I need to add some margin in between here, between the 2 buttons, right? So one way is to take one of the buttons and say, the first button I need to add something to the right. So I can say right margin, and I can add 10 dp, and they will go a little bit separated a little bit, as you can see, some space between them. Say that's enough for me. Of course, you can try other things. Okay. So this way, we finished how to design this UI, as you can see, very similar to what we wanted. And we only used linear layout. Okay, so this is for this tutorial. Thank you very much, and feel free to ask questions using the emailing me, or maybe ask me during class. Thank you very much.